who better to talk to about new tickers and new ideas than you gentlemen. So and specifically you today, obviously. But one idea that came from that too, like, will we ever see? Have you guys thought about like Maximus, Utah? Like the DAO holds land rights for some sort of place of Hexaco in Utah or Colorado or some other arid place that has land like that. Have you thought about that kind of governance, if you can say it?
Yeah, no, I'm all for that. I mean, on a personal level, I do want to get like more exposure to real estate, and I think there's definitely kind of a movement going on with like, I feel like it's probably more around like NFTs. People talk about like real world assets and ownership and bringing that on chain. So from a narrative perspective, I think that could be, the timing could be pretty close to being right for that. But it's just like, like Richard Hart talks a lot about just like, does this need to be on chain? And like, do we need to bring that over if we want to get exposure to real estate? I don't know, like I don't know. Yeah. That's a really cool idea. Honestly, I'd be down to, I feel like the idea of Hexaco has floated around since like the inception of Hex, and someone needs to make a move on actually getting the land and doing it. So maybe we'll step up and do that. It'd be cool.
Dude, that would be legit. I'm down for that. So a few of the ideas that are floating around community that made a list, just 2 or 3 on here, but I think I might have talked to the pitcher about one of these before too, but let's see, what's the one? Oh yeah, so building on, I think this is the one I asked him about briefly when I had my stream a month or 2 ago. Building on Watts NFTs, some kind of collateralizing them, because I remember DC mentioned that. I was like, why are they underrated? Like, why aren't people paying more attention to them? Why is everything about Hedron and Icosa? And one thing you mentioned that I thought about before is there is no price chart for the Wattses. There's no trading view for Wattses, right? So they get a lot less exposure due to that, even though they're this amazing, DeFi, backed type of asset, NFT like that. So collateralizing Wattses, good idea, bad idea?
I mean, I definitely looked into it. Something that our community was asking for was essentially a Watsa pool, right? That owned Watsas, and we tokenize it through an ERC20, of the ownership of these Watsas. The truth is like, they're just not, like, the ones that are listed, at least on OpenSea, are just not worth like their price. Today's price, maybe like, depending on how you look at it, but there's just better ways to get Icosa yield exposure than to buy Watsas off the market. So that was kind of the biggest thing, like, that I saw, and why we didn't move forward. That not to say we wouldn't maybe at some point, but I do, that the thing about the price chart, I do personally, and this is just my own biased personal opinion, I just love ERC20 so much more than NFTs, from what I would call like a market efficiency perspective. It's just like way easier to swap, Maxi, for example, versus like trying to list an HSI on OpenSea and hoping that someone, like, just trying to find that that price. Like, it's very hard to like price an HSI against all other HSIs. But there's trade-offs to that, right? Like, I think that because of that kind of inefficiency, maybe there's more opportunity on both sides. Maybe you can sell it for a little more than you could if it was an ERC20 token, or maybe you get to scoop up one that's at a discount. Hard to say, but personally, I just love, like, being able to swap in and out with a liquidity pool. I think that's a big advantage of, like, NFTs versus ERC20s.
So the price is like a primary factor too. Would it be, so if we go back in time and it would have came up around the time of launching, when you could have minted Wattses at the time, would that be a more viable way of doing it then?
Wait, say that one more time. Repeat that question.
So if we could go back and, y'all wanted to do the collateralization of Wattses, but it was during the minting phase, like the 14-day minting phase or so, that would be a lot more viable plan than getting them off OpenSea, for example.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's really what I was looking at, more of like the people that locked in those Watsas. I think it would have been a better strategy to, obviously create the Wattses during that launch phase. It just, yeah, from the price perspective of what they're listed on for OpenSea, it just like there's better ways to get ICOSA yield.
Judge Sloth, you're so right. You may be slow, but you are not stupid, sir. Just burn it. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
By the way, I did not
burn it.
I did not say Wattses are worthless. I just said that the price.
No, he wants you to burn it. He wants you to burn your Watts.
Yeah.
Because he wants that sweet baby yield. yeah. No, he's it's definitely a joke. I'm pretty sure. I mean, the Sloth, you're not stupid, right? He's not. He's
maybe a better way,
guy,
honestly, like a better way to than trying to like do a pool, because like what I was looking at is like doing a pool that like market bot, maybe some type of like pooling of from Watsa holders, like pulling those together and creating, you know, a pool that way rather than having to buy them first. But yeah, that was I haven't thought about Wattses in a minute, but I'm sure they're doing great.
They hit principal 2-3 months ago, I think, and I mean that whole staking ecosystem, the crazy amount. I mean, I get confused. I'm looking at the portal. I'm like, why is this number more than what I put in?
Yeah.
Are we over 100% staking? Like this, it's insane.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think the market's trying to figure out how to price Hedron and ICOSA, and you know, like just based off like the poly discount. I don't think, you know, people on Hex they understand the concept of like a 15-year stake because they're just long on Hex. And I think with the ICOSA ecosystem, I think there's potentially more short-term money to be had just with like, you know, stakes ending and being able to like liquidate and sell your yield. You know, but it's kind of like Hedron, ICOSA, like those two. I think people just need to pull back a little bit and look at it from like a 5-year perspective versus a 1 year. And I think they're gonna be great. You know, they're just the market and just like the initial liquidity shock of this first year. The market's just trying to figure it out, but it'll find its value. And then I think it'll raise the whole ecosystem for sure.
Raise to the roof like a pool party.
Yeah.
A couple other quick ideas real quick, just to, again, from the community I've seen, and I was like, I think it's a good guy to talk to him about it. Does it make any sense to stake HSIs? Like a contract portal that lets you earn yield on a basket of hex stakes, kind of like the original poly idea, but like maybe a little different. Yeah, does that make any sense?
No, it does. I think it's like the thing when it comes to like staking, it's like staking just a stake doesn't mean, like, I think people get kind of blinded by this idea of like, oh, it's giving me crazy yield, but it's like people underestimate the thing that you're yielding needs to be valuable. And that's why I love Hex so much. And I think, you know, with HSIs, I think Alex built a great system for, you know, the buyback, like being able to get ICOSA that way. You know, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's actually an interesting idea though, just with, yeah. What do you think would be the best yield for the HSIs when you're staking?
Like what you would get? Would you get like another token, or would you get, does it make an HSI? You get an HSI out of the stake.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could create like some kind of like diamond hand contract too, where you put your HSI in, and I don't know. It's a little harder though, but I hadn't thought about HSI staking. That's a good idea. It's cool.
And one more, somebody had mentioned flash loans for Hex in stakes. Don't have a lot of context around it, but have you thought about anything around flash loans for helping to end in stakes?
Yeah, I had a little bit. I think Alex had actually tweeted something about like sending HSIs, which, because it does have that transferability, you might be able to do something around in-stake gas fees for HSIs. You know, the hard thing with just flash loans for a hex stake is like, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to think through if that'd be able to be a trustless solution for a flash loan that people couldn't utilize in a bad way. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, the way to go is just like I feel like the best trustless solution is to GA, like incentivize people to GA stakes. But yeah, it's an interesting idea with flash loans.
Kind of like communists, right? There's
Yeah.
a reward for that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thing about communists, if people haven't heard, not communists, by the way, not communists, not communist, communists, not commie token. The DCC affectionately referred to it one stream. It not only you can only stake the coins you mint from your stakes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy it off the market and stake them. So I'm just like, wow, that is so, I don't know how to say it, community, like from the community in community first and then outwards kind of thing. It's like you can't just go, because I thought across my mind, hey, there's cheap communists out there. Let me go get some and go stake it and just see what it's worth in the future. Like, no, you can't do that, sir. You can only mint from your hex stakes and stake what you get from that. So I was like, that was pretty cool for a community driven idea.
That is really cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, we're trying to integrate. So these pools for Pool Party will get Hedron. You'll be able to redeem Hedron from the pools that you participate in. We're also trying to integrate Calm as well. So that would be big. Yeah, it's a cool platform. I haven't spent too much time trying to understand all the dynamics of it, but I'm honestly all for people building incentive tokens around hex staking. I think it's awesome. I hope more people do, honestly.
But you're just part of the echo chamber. We got to do more crosswise. There's like this visceral on both sides. It's like we need more hex rewards for hexagons, and when the other side's like, you're just an echo chamber.
Yeah. Wow. Well, the thing I don't get, like, there's people that on one hand will say like, oh, there's 150 projects launching on PulseChain, but then they're like, you guys need to stop launching more tickers. It's like, well, wouldn't you want the coins that are being launched to be hex focused and like actually pushing hex forward and not like just random tokens being launched?
No, you freaking Maxi.
It's a weird conundrum. I think a lot of people are in, but it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I think PulseChain definitely opened the gates for, new people to build in our community. And I'm definitely a hex maximalist, but I'm obviously not like a Bitcoin maximalist that's like a one coin person. I like to support things that support hex. And I think there's a solid foundation of good trustless products that are doing that. So I think we're in a good spot.
Same page, man. That's what I mean. I literally got comments like, oh, you gotta stop. Like, why are you talking about other projects? I'm like, yeah. I really try to focus on projects that help the blue chips, Hex, PulseChain, PulseX. And there's a lot of those, and I don't see any reason not to. So I'm not, whatever maximalist you think I am, I'm not that one. I'm Richard's ideals first, is product second, and then the ecosystem that supports all that cool stuff. Yeah, I'm that kind of maxi too.
Yeah.